Jordan Bazron with ULMWarhawks.com. We're joined alongside head softball coach Corey Lyon. Coach, we're here to catch up with you after the Maroon and Gold World Series, the World Series which Maroon took in dominating but not dominating fashion, 2-0. So let's get right into it with the first game. Maroon took a 7-4 victory in Game 1 behind freshman pitchers Caitlin Kaminsky and Casey Waterman, and behind the play of Rachel Tadlock, who hit a 3-run home run, and we saw some stellar defensive play from her. Can you first start with Tadlock? And I know you have a returning starter there in Vanessa Garcia, but what has Tadlock brought to the table early on?
Well, it's great to see Rachel kind of step up. Rachel has a ton of talent. I mean, she's a kid that has a big stick and can really swing it. She's got a great live arm, good feet. I mean, she's got everything that it takes to be a great player at this level. And I think that this was her time to really kind of settle in and be able to play the full game as she was able to do in the Maroon and Gold, and I think relax a little bit. And I think once she was able to do that, it just kind of let everything else fall into place. And she had a real big hit, and then right after that made a huge play. And so it was good to see, good to see her step up and good to see her make some plays because, I believe that she's a kid that we brought in, with the hopes that she's going to be able to contribute early.
Also looking at relaxing, we're going to talk about freshman pitcher. Caitlin Kaminsky seemed a little tense at first. She allowed 3 runs in the first inning, but after that, her and Waterman combined to just allow 1 run in 6 innings of work. How did you think your freshman pitchers relaxed?
Well, I thought they did a great job of settling in and really pitching to their strengths. The biggest issue with any of the, with all of our pitchers, for that matter, is just being consistent. And, once again, both Katie and Casey are kids that come in here with, they've pitched in a lot of big games and they've done a lot of great things. And so being able to translate that from, the club level and the high school level to the college level, it's a big transition. And so getting them to understand that, things that they could get away with at the high school level, things that they could get away with at the travel ball level, they're not going to be able to get away with here. And I think you kind of saw that in the first inning as Katie made some mistakes, and every time she made a mistake, the Gold team jumped on it. But then she was able to kind of settle in and really battle. And that's the things that I liked about what both Casey and Katie did is they played to their strengths, they pitched to their strengths, they didn't veer from that, and they really battled and gave their team an opportunity to win.
Now let's talk about Gold a little bit. You had 2 returning pitchers on the Gold squad, Melanie Coyne and Paige Porter. Melanie did take the loss in Game 1, but outside of the loss, what did you see out of Melanie?
Well, the things that I've seen, Melanie has been fantastic all fall. She's pitched every time she's taken the mound in the fall. She's been pretty much dominant, and it's hard in the Maroon and Gold because they know each other so well. I mean, the pitchers know what the hitters do, the hitters know what the pitchers do, and so sometimes that is a little bit of that. But what I saw out of Mel all fall was the fact that we wanted her to come in and really take the reins and be our number 1 starter. And last year she showed different flashes of being a dominant pitcher in our conference. And so the biggest thing for us this year was to, hey, let's take that and hopefully run with it a little bit. And she's really stepped her game up. She's really become more of a leader. She's really taken the younger girls under her wing and really trying to help them out and make them better. And she got the loss in Game 1. I thought she pitched really well. It came down to a couple pitches. I mean, the fact that they lost that game had nothing to do with the pitching part of it. They stranded 12 runners on base, and I felt like she pitched well enough to win that game, especially if they get a couple hits early, where they really put the game out of hand or out of reach. And so, but overall with Mel, I feel like she did a great job all fall.
Yeah, like we said, it was a 7-4 Maroon victory in Game 1. Let's go into Game 2, where Gold made a bold move to start Rochelle Roberts, who we both, you told me hasn't pitched in quite a while. Yeah. Do you think that's a mistake that Gold can learn from?
Well, I hope so. and Rochelle's a competitor, and no, no doubt about it. I'm sure she, wanted to go out there. And part of what, the Maroon and Gold, it's about having fun. And when you let the girls coach their team, sometimes they do, silly things. And, Rochelle didn't pitch bad. I think the first time, if they would have just stayed one time through the lineup, she would have been fine. The second time through the lineup, the Maroon team, that's when they got to her. And to Maroon's credit, same thing, Rochelle's not used to pitching at this level, and when she made mistakes and left the ball on the plate, they hit it and hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, on the Maroon side, senior catcher Amye Barre, obviously a big part of your team this year. She went 2 for 2 with a solo home run that really seemed to carry the momentum into the end for Maroon. What did you like out of Amye?
Well, the great part about what Amye did all during the Maroon and Gold, she's been in a position in the last couple of years where she hasn't had to do much leading. Great senior class last year where, she's pretty much just been able to kind of follow the pack. And having been hurt for much of the fall and not really gotten a chance to play, this was really her first time to really kind of full-on play. And so the biggest thing that I was excited about taking from this is the fact that, she's going to have to lead and she's going to have to be a team leader. And so for her to really kind of take that on and really help her team and lead her team to victory, I thought was very important. Due to injury, which is kind of what happened last year, she went behind the plate, did a great job behind the plate, and then came up with some big hits, very unselfish at the plate, took a couple hit by pitch. And I think that those are all things that are very infectious within your team. You see one of the team leaders, you see one of the team captains that's out there, sacrificing themselves, playing a position that they're not, that is not their number one position. Up there at the plate, taking balls off their body so that they're, to give their teammates a chance to hit with runners in scoring position. That's huge, and it really, I think it really helped the psyche of those younger girls and really made them play at a higher level. And so, obviously the home run was big. Amy's got big home run power. The kid's strong as an ox, she can hit. So that was obviously huge. But I think more than anything, the leadership that she showed and getting her team to play at a higher level than they had shown all fall, I think was very exciting. Is
there a sense of calmness with the pitchers having a senior catcher back there?
I think so. I think, part of it, they trust her. And, I think that that's something that is big in the pitcher-catcher relationship, especially when you're dealing with young pitchers. Is being able to trust what the game that's being called, being able to trust what's going, the process that's being put into play as far as how you're going to manage the game. And I think that having that person back there that can calm everybody down, that has been through it, I think that's a huge advantage.
Now, you had 2 freshmen as well who had big days at the plate, Sydney McKay and Grace Trishantra, 2 RBIs apiece. What did you think about their approaches at the plate?
Sydney's a big-time player. Sydney was great all fall for us. She's a kid that's going to step in, and I feel like she's going to do great things here at this university. She's competed all of her life to be ready for this moment, and when she just relaxes and plays, she's phenomenal. Grace is another kid that, is competing for playing time right now as a freshman. And, it was nice to see her step in. Same thing, and you saw that a lot with a lot of our freshmen. So far in the fall or throughout the fall games, what we saw a lot of was, kind of the older kids really playing at a high level, and the younger kids kind of, stepping back a little bit. And in this scenario, the thing that I loved about it was it made those kids have to step up. It made them have to, and they did, to their credit, the competitive nature, what they bring to the table, they were able to step up, and those are going to be the things that are going to allow us to be successful this year when we have, Grace and Megan Shaw and Rachel and you talk about Sydney McKay and then to get the other leadership that we're getting out of kids, that maybe didn't play big roles last year. Sydney Coy, who's taken over in center field, and to see those kinds of things happening, is pretty exciting, and I think it is gives us a great foundation to really build off of going forward for the rest of the year.
Now you talk about relaxing and you talk about battling, but you had two Maroon pitchers that had to battle. They didn't have any choice but to battle. It was just those two. Again, in Game 2, just 4 runs through 7 innings among the two. I mean, that's not bad for a potent gold offense.
No.
So can you talk a little bit specifically about their strengths, which each one does really well?
Well, Katie's going to be a down pitcher. She's got a nasty drop ball that when it's on, it's good. And she just played to that. She made gold hit the ball in the ground, and she limited her mistakes. I think the things that Katie needs to work on are, I think she had 8 walks, within the series, and that's obviously, a high number, but she was able to work around them. She was able to stay calm. One of the things that one of Katie's strengths is the fact that she doesn't let things really get to her, and I think that is something that she does very well. Is she plays the next pitch, she plays the next hitter. And I think as she matures, as she gets older, as she gets stronger, she's only going to get better. And like I said, she really pitched to her strength. She kept the ball down, and really made her defense play. And her defense did a good job. They made some really good plays. With Casey is going to throw the ball in. And I mean, she's kind of one of those pitchers right now that she lives on, one half of the plate, but she does a great job of understanding what her strength is, and she's not out there trying to be something she's not, and so I feel like that with her, they were able to play off of each other very well. There was one point in Game 2 where Katie was getting tired and she started getting hit and getting knocked around a little bit, and Casey comes in and shuts the door. And so I feel like that part of this was a growing up process for both of them, and I was very proud of both of them in the way that they really fought and they really battled, because once again, those are the things that we're going to need as we get to spring. You put those two combined with what Paige can do, and I feel like that's the missing link to where to us winning 35, 40 games maybe. Very confident in what Mel brings to the table, that she's going to be a Game 1 starter. She's going to be, as we get to the conference season, she's going to pitch Games 1 and Games 3 and give us an opportunity to win. And so what we need is we need somebody out of those other 3 to step up. And so you really started to see that, especially out of the 2 younger ones.
Now, speaking of battles, I think Game 1 and Game 2 ended almost the same way. Gold had a chance to win it with Vanessa Garcia at the plate, and she took the freshman to a long count, I think, both games, and just lacing ball after ball, and then the freshman found a way to get her out.
Well, and with Vanessa, she's been on fire all fall, and she's been our best hitter. The kid works her tail off. I mean, she's in here on her own day after day after day, and I think that has started to translate into what she's doing on the field. And the part that I love, obviously, both games, Vanessa was up with a chance to win the game. It didn't work out, but at the same time, the thing that I take out of it is the fact that Vanessa wanted to be up in that spot. And when you want to be up in that spot and you want that pressure, you want to be in that position, good things are going to happen. And I look at it, with Faith, it came down to both, Faith and then Vanessa in those 2 spots, and both games Faith found a way to get on to give Vanessa a chance, and so that's very exciting for me, because both of those are, those 2 are going to be middle of the lineup hitters for us. They're going to be hitters that we are looking to drive in runs and looking to be, some of the big bats that we have in our lineup. So, the fact that it didn't work out, that's one thing. There's been several times where we've done, in scrimmages and even in fall games where it has worked out. And like I said, the biggest thing I take from it is just the fact that she wanted to be there in that position. And, I know that if we end up in that spot where we've got Vanessa up with a chance to win the game, we're going to win a lot more than we're going to lose. So, I'm pretty happy with what we did.
Now let's talk about Maroon a little bit more. Barre in the series, 3 for 3 with that solo home run we talked about. Freshman Sydney McKay, 3 for 5 with 2 RBI, and you mentioned freshman Megan Shaw, 3 for 6 with 2 doubles. Anyone else from Maroon that really stuck out to you?
Like I said, I really feel like Sydney Coy has really stepped up. I feel like she has really taken over defensively in the outfield, and that's kind of something losing our our center fielder from last year, Mackenzie Miller, who was a great defensive center fielder. That's one of the things that we were kind of looking at going into this year is, okay, who's going to take over for Mac? And Sydney has really stepped up, and so was very excited to see her come out and really play the way that she has played. Obviously Rachel played a good series. Amye did a great job. The 2 pitchers. It was just Maroon played a solid game, and they played 2 solid games and got solid contributions from everybody. Carly Como came up with a big hit in that second game to really kind of get the rally going when they had they had got down 4-3, and then Carly comes up and gets a big hit to start the inning, and so getting contributions from everybody on the field, I think it was truly a team thing for them, and that's something that we really like going forward.
Now let's not forget about Gold. You had senior Faith Bohak leading the Gold squad. How does Faith really round out this team as being a senior leader?
Well, Faith kind of exemplifies where we're at as a team. She's a player that has been here for 4 years. She's pretty much given everything she's got to ULM softball. She's been a great leader so far this year, as far as stepping in as one of 2 seniors, and she's really taken control and really worked hard to be that person. She's very dynamic on offense. She hit 2 home runs in one game earlier this fall, but at the same time she can put down a bunt and beat out a bunt to first base. She's as diverse as it comes when you talk about the dynamic type players. Defensively she's going to wear it. She's got a strong arm. She's been through it. So she's a great defensive shortstop. You mix that with her competitiveness, the fact that she wants to win every time she gets out there. She expects herself to be great, and I think that just kind of really embodies what we're trying to do as a team this year. Is really kind of put everything together, and so what she offers us is she offers us the opportunity to be very flexible and be very dynamic in what we do.
Speaking of flexible, Bree Robel behind the plate, 3 for 5 with an RBI. Which questions do Robel have to answer to solidify that catcher position?
Well, I think the number one thing, is just consistency. Bree, once again, she's a freshman that comes in that's got a lot of talent. She's got a lot of natural ability, but at the same time, there's a lot more that goes into it. She's got to be able to handle the pitching staff. She's got to be able to make her pitchers better. And, she's worked really hard to get, to improve behind the plate, blocking, throwing, framing, and everything. And I think she just needs to keep working and really kind of take it to the next level. We didn't see a lot of Samantha Agamite, or we didn't see any of Samantha Agamite, in the Maroon and Gold. She suffered an injury in the last fall game, but, she's also been very strong for us behind the plate. This year. She's a very, very, very good defensive catcher, and I feel like, just Bree being around her every day is going to make her better. And so it's nice to have those two kind of pushing each other. Hey, you throw Amye in the mix, if she can get behind the plate every once in a while, then I think that really strengthens what we are able to do in that spot.
Melanie Coyne, she did hit that big home run that I don't even know if it landed yet.
Yeah, that ball was smoked.
Are we going to see her swing the stick a little more this season?
I think so. We would love to. Obviously, Melanie's job is to get outs. Her job is to win the game for us in the circle. But if she can hit like that and be consistent like that, it once again it gives us some flexibility. It allows us to do some different things, and I feel like she's one of those type of players that can do that. She's got the confidence to be able to be a great hitter for us and win games in the circle for us. And last year she hit some, and it was just a matter of kind of matchups and whatnot. But I feel like this year, her being a little bit older, having been through it, I feel like she has a better idea and a better feel of what's going on and what it takes to be able to pitch and hit. And so, yeah, I think that's something that we could see going forward.
Now let's talk about Paige a little bit. She's really trying to stick in that second spot behind Mel in the pitching rotation. What are Paige's strengths?
Well, Paige's strengths are that she throws a heavy ball, and the kid has a ton of movement. And Paige's only weakness is Paige. And once she figures out how good she could be, she'll be dominant. And that's the thing is, Paige is a super smart kid, but sometimes she lets that hinder her a little bit in that she sometimes thinks her way out of just playing the game and doing what she's good at. And so, for Paige, it's about being able to take what she does in the bullpen and how she pitches in the bullpen and take that and put it into play out on the field. And there's times where she's unhittable, and then there's times where she gives up hits that she should never give up. So for Paige, once again, it's consistency, and it's really just about her allowing herself to be great.
Now, we saw a great play at third base from Rachel Tadlock and Vanessa Garcia, your returning starter, but that's obviously a good position battle brewing over there. But what other position battles are you looking at right now?
Well, the great part of it is we come out of this fall with, we've got position battles at first base. McKinley Marks had a super fall. I mean, she hit the ball, came up with several big clutch hits for us, and played a very good first base. Cheyenne Lyon and Grace over at second, those two, really had both of them did well in the fall. I'd say Cheyenne comes out of it probably a little ahead as far as the hitting goes, but Grace is probably a little bit ahead as far as the fielding goes. And so, that's a great position battle. Megan Shaw has really pushed Faith. And even though, Faith has an opportunity to, she's, from what she's done in the past, she's comes back in as the starter. It's one of those things that, hey, if something were to happen, we've got a great defensive replacement there. We've got somebody that can really pick it behind her. Obviously, you talked about the position battle at third, and then we've got, our outfield is loaded. We've got several very good outfielders. Hunter Hogan, who was a transfer for us this fall, had a super fall. Kid works hard, does everything she's coached to do, and so you add that to the fact, and we've got Brittany Johnson, who basically was not redshirted, but she was ineligible this fall due to transfer rules. Had a great fall, and so that combined with the other outfielders that we have coming back and coming in. Victoria Peterson is a kid that has a ton of talent. The kid's got a laser rocket arm, and she's super fast, and will run through a wall. So you mix all of that together. We've got 8 outfielders that are really good, and so there's some great battles going on, and that's kind of the one thing that we've really pushed this year. Last year we were pretty good, 1 through 9, 1 through 10, but then after that there wasn't a lot of depth, and once we had a couple injuries early, it really kind of erased our depth. And so this year we have options, we have flexibility, we've got a lot of people that can play a lot of different positions, and I feel like it's going to allow us to be able to survive those that hit the wall, and being able to give others opportunities to get in there and do their thing, and I feel like we have enough dynamic players that I'm very cautiously optimistic about what we can do this year.
Again, Maroon took a 2-0 series victory over Gold. 6-4 and 7-4 were the scores. Coach, we appreciate you giving us some insight.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate it.